of 8 minutes.
I'm delighted, Minister, first of all, to welcome you here to the Chamber this afternoon. And I must say, on a personal level, I'm delighted to second the Farm Safety Agency Bill 2018 put forward here today by my colleague, Senator Paul Daly. And I would like at this point to compliment Paul for bringing forward this very, very important piece of legislation. I'd like to compliment him for the many long hours and days that he has put into bringing this very critically important piece of legislation to the House this afternoon. We all know that the farm is potentially a very dangerous place to work, and unfortunately the statistics available to us highlight that very fact. Over the last 10 years, on average, Irish farms account for over 40% of all workplace fatalities. So clearly, it indicates that, yes, I acknowledge, and as Paul did as well in his introduction, that there is good work being done by many different groups across the farm safety issue, but the statistics would show that something different needs to be done, a new approach needs to be taken to this, and I think this bill and the contents of which put forward here by my colleague clearly give good guideline and good direction to what needs to be done in order to reduce the fatalities on a farm. We all know farmers work very long hours. It's certainly not a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday occupation. And a lot of that time, many farmers spend working on their own. And as we know, there are many dangers to working on Irish farms, that it be machinery, working with machinery, or indeed livestock, or indeed chemicals of one kind or another. And when any fatality occurs, it's a heartbreak for those involved. When a fatality occurs on a farm, it's equally, or maybe even more so as well. Because, unfortunately, the statistics would show that it's more often than not a child or a farm of a farmer or somebody connected with that family. And as we know, when it happens on a farm, there's a permanent reminder. Every day that farmer goes out to work, there's a permanent reminder of what happened and when it happened and where it happened. And that will stay with them for the remainder of their lives as well. So clearly, something needs to be done, a new direction needs to be taken, and I think the bill put forward by my colleague Senator Daly clearly gives some direction to what needs to be done, and the bringing together of all these different agencies that's currently doing work and doing good work in this particular area gives them more focus and more direction, and I think it's to be very, very welcomed. Coming from a farm background myself, I do understand what it's like to work on a farm, and unfortunately, as Senator Daly outlined here this afternoon, the statistics do show that there are many dangers, as I outlined earlier, on Irish farms. And in light of that fact, I spoke earlier on this morning here in this House in relation to a survey that was conducted recently by the HSE in relation to farming and farming practices. And it came away with the conclusion that farmers are more at risk than any other occupation from mental health issues and indeed from physical health issues as well, because of the time that they spend on their own and the social isolation that many of them go through. So, in summary, Minister, I'm delighted and honoured to be associated with this piece of legislation, and I compliment my colleague, Senator Daly, again for bringing this forward. Any bit of work that can be done here that reduces even the results of which might reduce one farm fatality has to be worthwhile, and I'm hoping that all members of the House will embrace this piece of legislation as a genuine attempt by my colleague Senator Daly to address this heartbreaking issue for many farm families. Cormac.